Assalamu alaikum, guys. This is me, Ali Baqir Khan, with another episode of Youth Alumni Association. Today, we've got Mona with us, and Mona is a digital marketer herself and an entrepreneur as well. Apart from that, if her education is concerned, she did her bachelor's in microbiology. This is what I know about Mona, but apart from that, I think Mona, you would love to go ahead and tell the youth about your career experience, and let's go back to your childhood and how you. Let's just go ahead and talk about your career journey first. Go ahead.
Okay, first of all, thank you so much, Ali, for having me on your podcast today.
No problem at all. I hope you're doing good.
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you so much for asking. Okay, so let me introduce myself so that the youth knows a little more about me and where I come from. And along the line, I'll explain my journey and what made me an entrepreneur today. So actually, I was born and brought up in Nigeria. And I studied there. I completed my microbiology degree there. And while I was in my final year, I already started working in the laboratory in one of the most reputable medical facilities there in our town. And that is where my boss was very, very observant about my qualities, and he encouraged me to move towards the management. He was not really okay with my working as a lab attendant, as a scientist, playing with samples and things like that. So he encouraged me to first come out of there and become a manager, a hospital manager.
Okay.
And that's where he taught me how to think out of the box, try to explore my potential. I think that was where I saw how supportive people can be, and they want to see the better side of you.
So, but what about your childhood? I'm sorry, I'm cutting you here because we want to hear about your school life a little first. Like, what did you want to become at that?
Life.
Yeah, let's start from there, like O levels or whatever the grading system was in Nigeria that time. So, what did you want to become at that time, and how? Just from a little background that this is what I wanted to be, and this is what I became in the end. Yeah.
Okay. If I go back to my childhood, then as a kid, I wasn't really sure about what career path I should take. Okay, but that is where our parents guide us. So my father's wish was that I should become a medical doctor.
Okay.
And I studied science subjects. I even worked towards the entrance exam for the Nigerian university.
All right.
I did my O levels at first, but at that time there was an economic crisis in Nigeria.
Okay. What time was that exactly? What year was that?
That would have been in the 80s, 85, 89, like that time, yeah.
I got
you. Yeah, so that was the time when my father realized that the Ghanaian teachers, the foreign teachers were leaving the country because of devaluation, the economic crisis. So that affected my education a bit, and we had to make that decision to change my educational line to the local examinations system there. That was the West African Examination Council.
Okay.
So anyhow, I still pursued the science subjects because my father's dream was that I should become a medical doctor.
All right.
So I worked hard. I completed my O levels. I completed my A levels. And the system there was basically high school, just like it is in any other European country. Yeah. So that was a very interesting time in my life. I got to socialize a lot with Nigerian kids, made a lot of best friends there. And I'm still in touch with most of my colleagues and friends from high school.
You miss Nigeria?
Yeah, I do.
I see.
I do miss Nigeria. Yeah, I miss the life there. I miss the people there. People are very, very nice. Yeah.
Okay.
And after that, I got admission into university. But at that time, Nigeria was going through a lot of problems. So there was a significant delay in our educational system there because there were strikes every now and then. But you see, keeping that in mind, when it came to getting admission, at one time, I lost interest in medical field completely. I didn't want to continue to study towards medicine.
Okay.
So I spoke to my parents about it, and quite reluctantly, but my father said, okay, if you're not into the medical line, because I realized it's going to waste a lot of time. And I wanted to graduate faster. We had already wasted a lot of years waiting for admission. Yeah. I wasted like 2 years because of the strike. And then I was like, let me go into some science subject. I was really interested in laboratory work, in microscopic, studying microbes. That was an interest I discovered when I was studying science subjects in high school.
Mm-hmm. I see.
So I wrote the entrance exam for microbiology, and I got in. And I realized that this was probably meant for me. I really gave it my best.
I mean, you had that interest of pursuing something in biology, if not
Yeah.
doctor, then something related to sciences,
Yes.
basically.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I
Makes
wanted
sense.
to be a scientist, basically.
All right, that's good.
Yeah, I think that has to do with the background.
It's going to be
because
really interesting because the field that you are in, I mean, I introduced you as digital marketer. So we would be really curious about knowing what happened and how did that happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, carry on. Go ahead.
So I studied microbiology, completed the education there. And at one time I decided that I want to live among my own people.
Okay.
When I was after graduation, there was a period while I was working. I realized that life in Nigeria was not it for me. I needed to discover my own people. Of course, I knew I was not a Nigerian.
Yeah.
Because I would always stand out. My complexion, my physique, everything was different.
Yeah.
And I was curious about my own people. I was curious about my background, my culture, because we more or less grew up in an isolated system. It was just our parents, just a few Indian families around us, and nothing more. So I decided that it was time to move to Pakistan. We did visit Pakistan a couple of times as kids.
Okay.
We did spend a little time, very brief time with our relatives here.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't enough for me. I always felt like there's a calling. I have to come to Pakistan.
I mean, Pakistan, there was something in your mind that always, I mean, you had a heart for Pakistan as well at the same time. Okay.
Yeah, I always knew that although Nigeria is a place I still consider home,
okay,
but that sense of your belonging, I never felt like I belonged among those people.
So you wanted to get back to Pakistan, you came to Pakistan.
Yes.
Okay,
and
let's go ahead. Now let's discuss about your Pakistan journey.
Okay, so when we came here, it was a change of environment completely because I was in Karachi. I'm originally from Karachi.
Okay.
So at that time, Karachi was going through a lot of social unrest. There was this NQM issue. It was at its peak, basically. And right from the day we landed, our relatives had told us to be careful. There are people on the roads, like harassment hoti hai. There's harassment here and there. So our mother became really worried because our father was back in Nigeria. He sent my mom and my siblings and me to Pakistan.
Okay.
So my mom was freaking out. She was really possessive about not sending us out alone. It was a very disturbing change for us. It was not what I expected. Because
I mean, in Nigeria, you guys used to go outside, enjoy kar rahe hain,
exactly.
it was a very free environment, but yahan pe thode se concerns the ki if you're going to go out, clothing ke concerns honge most probably, western clothing na karen, stuff like that. Even in Karachi, I mean, there are different sectors, obviously. I don't know what part of Karachi were you living in at that time, but still, you're right about the unrest part. Yeah.
Yes, we were in Gulistane Johar.
Okay.
And yes, like you said, our dressing was a very, very major concern because I used to wear skirt blouses, jeans.
And this was not a norm in Pakistan. Obviously, people might scare you like by watching, and you would have been like, "Oh my God, where am I?" I mean, for you it was normal, and for them it was abnormal at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So that transition was at first I didn't realize how badly it was impacting me, but it started affecting my health. Because I had to change my clothes. I had to become more reserved. I was not
a completely transformed personality, and that also, influencing you forcefully.
Yeah.
It's not like,
and then my mom and my aunts always saying, you can't do this, you can't do that. How did you do this? Why did you do that? I wasn't used to that. Because while I was in Nigeria, I was so free. My parents had given so much freedom. I had a car to myself. I could go anywhere. Anytime I could stay out with my friends till midnight, past midnight, It was a fun life for me.
It was a culture where you used to have fun, and now in Karachi you were like, okay, you cannot go here and there, you cannot go late at night.
What I expected. Yeah, this was not what I expected actually.
Okay.
So keeping that in mind, my relatives advised me to get a job as a teacher.
Yeah, this is what happens in Pakistan. If not doctor, then go for a teaching job, because these are only two professions for a women.
Exactly.
Still, conservative people or different minds. I'm not going to call them conservative, but people are scared because of a lot of things. They don't want their, I don't know, but there is a fear theory that's going on in our mind, in our parents' mindset as well.
Yes, and aside from that, I think it is a general belief that if you are a woman, the first thing you should be able to do as a woman is teach, be a teacher. It's the ideal job for a woman.
Yeah, most probably.
Is there that gender preference kind of thing somewhere in everybody's
I think,
mind?
which I totally disagree with. I think it should not happen. And things are changing as well. But let's go ahead and continue.
Yes.
Okay.
So I joined a Fahim school system in Karachi as a teacher, as a senior mistress. And those people were really nice. They were actually people that lived in Nigeria at one time, the owners of that school.
Oh, I see.
So that kind of gave them that faith in me that, okay, let us make her the senior mistress. Although I never had any experience with teaching in Pakistan at that time. But it was a big jump for me because they felt it would be better.
Teaching what exactly? What did you teach there?
The prep class, the English subject.
I see.
Subject English and science. Whenever any teacher was not around, I would just fill in, you know.
I see.
And my main role there was to maintain discipline.
I see.
And counsel the students. So I did make a lot of I think I made progress with some students that felt lost career-wise. I used to talk to them, not to be, naughty, not to misbehave, try to think about their future. I would counsel them a lot whenever I could. There were some very naughty kids in school.
I see. I understand that part. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. But within a year, I realized this was not it for me because I'm a very child-loving person. I like children. So being mean to them, continuously nagging on them, disciplining them, it wasn't something I was enjoying. It was kind of, I didn't fit. I knew it wasn't done for me. So I started looking for jobs. And I saw the advertisement for a content writer in the newspaper, in the Sunday newspaper.
Okay. So what newspaper? Was it Dawn or the News or what?
It was Dawn. It was Dawn. And it had a vacancy for a content writer in Logicos. There's a very popular company, Logicos.
Okay.
So, and this would be in 2011. That is when I applied and I got the job.
Okay. Within Karachi.
In Karachi, yes.
In Karachi, okay.
Yes, at Shariff, that's where the office was at that time.
And do you miss Karachi as well? My second question.
I do miss my friends in Karachi. The people in Karachi, the few friends I made are very nice friends. They're still my friends. And but if it comes to the environment and all, I don't miss that. I don't miss the fact that I wasn't free enough because I remember that my drive from home to work and back was always tensing.
Even though Shariff Faisal, I think it's a good place, right? I mean, that's what I've heard.
It is a good place. It is a good place, but it had happened a couple of times that I and my sister were leaving from home, going to work, and the rickshaw man would suddenly notice bikes following us because there are women in the rickshaw.
That's really weird. That's
really
weird.
And a couple of times they would come past us. Once they noticed they are women, they would start winking at us, whistling, and it was a nuisance. So we used to be scared.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I personally have never felt, obviously, being a man, or even my sister, we guys did not, because we were born in Islamabad, came to Lahore, spent a couple of years in Multan as well, but we never face, such chaos, you could say, where people are whistling. I mean, how would a person feel? Of course, it's not good.
It feels really disturbing. You feel scared, you feel worried. So I remember how that feeling was. That's mainly the reason why I'm not happy about Karachi. I don't like to remember.
Okay, anyways, forget about the negative part. Let's come towards, next your career journey. Okay.
Okay, so I worked in Logicos for about 3 years. It was a very nice experience for me. I got to learn how content writing works. I got to learn about the technical SEO aspects that you have to fulfill as a content writer.
Okay.
I got to learn about the issues that plagiarism can cause. And they're very serious issues because not myself, but some other colleagues often made mistakes like plagiarized content. And eventually the client would threaten suing us because of the mistake. It was a very serious issue, especially in Europe.
Yeah, in Europe, they have a lot of tools as well to actually go ahead.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. So while I was at Logicos, I got to learn a lot about some content writing tools, how to use them, how to avoid plagiarism. I became their top ebook writer as well.
Okay.
Because that's when I discovered that ebooks was a thing for me. I was really interested in writing ebooks.
I see.
And after that, I got married. So we moved to Lahore.
Okay. So was that the reason you came to Lahore? Because the guy was from Lahore? Okay.
Yes, exactly. My husband is from Lahore.
He's from Lahore. Okay.
So when I moved here, I still continued working as a content writer in another company. But that is where I got the opportunity to learn about the backlinking aspects, how to outreach for guest blogging, the importance of guest blogging, how SEO tools work, like Google.
You also have a certification in digital marketing, I think.
That is what prompted me to go for an online course on digital marketing.
I see.
And I learned SEO from there. Then I moved to another job. There, I got to explore more about how using Google Analytics, how to place ads, Google ads, Facebook ads, how Instagram works. I got to do social media marketing. And that is how, like, that's what prompted me to do a course so that I can certify myself, because I understood the importance of, getting a certificate to endorse your skills.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not just enough to have the skills, you need to show something. And of course, I started freelancing because I realized at one point that just having jobs isn't enough, because there's no security.
Yeah.
There's no job security.
Yeah.
It can't be a permanent, lifelong thing. So
what is your advice to youth? I mean, when it comes to, there are a lot of people you might see on LinkedIn that they have got tags like, okay, online digital marketing. I mean, everywhere it's digital marketing, even though they don't know about anything about, in regards to that. And especially since you have your own, organization, I think, or something like a,
yes.
that you're running. Yeah. So,
Yes.
so
As
you've
a
been,
freelancer, then I
as a
started my own
freelancer,
business.
you started giving work to different people. What was your
Yes,
experience when it comes to people working for you? Were they working just for the sake of getting some pocket money out of it, or was there any interest that you felt
Yes.
that people had? If they had, what was the percentage of those people? And I mean, just explain something about that as well, like in terms of, do we have particular interest in the field that we are pursuing, or we are just doing it for the sake of just getting some money out of it?
Well, you see, in my observation and in my experience, it's sad, but most of the youth is doing freelancing just for the money. There's hardly an interest. It's more like a need. And that is where I feel there's a lack of interest that, holds them back from exploring their true potential. Because I've noticed that they don't give their best. And when I work with someone, I expect their best. I give them as much guidance that, okay, you should not have plagiarism in the content. If you're giving me content, it should be meaningful. Do your research.
Yeah.
Don't just pick up content from somewhere, just revert it and throw it. Try to add value to it for the reader.
But do you think people are doing it, or yeah, go ahead.
I think only about 28% of people are doing this.
28%, which is a very less amount. I mean, if you talk about
exactly, it's a very less amount percentage.
And it does affect your work eventually as well. I guess definitely you would have to get back to them. And then, I mean, people have different resumes, and you think that, okay, he or she might be a good fit, because at start they're really interested, like, okay, I want to work, because they want to prove themselves. When, while they're in the interview, they come up with all the explanations of the entire world, because they're well prepared. And you being the person hiring them at that point, you don't even know, what it might land eventually towards. So does that occur to you as well? Like, these kind of things?
It does. In the beginning, it didn't occur to me so much, but over time, hiring people, having to let them go, I realized that they don't really mean what they're saying at the time of employment. At the time I'm offering the job, they don't mean it. They are just doing it for the money. And because they're not into it, they lose the motivation for it. They don't like to be corrected all the time. If I do see such mistakes, I have to send the content back to them, because it will affect my relations with my clients. Because, I know my clients' expectations, they are from me. So, like, what I would like to say to such people is, don't do it just for the money.
One thing that I still remember, because I used to write content for you, I still remember that. I mean, I used to do some research. The best part about you was that you were not there just to highlight mistakes. You were there to coach them as well. I mean, you've been coaching me, and after that, I got a job in KMU as a, SEO creative associate. My younger brother, my sister used to work for you, and I still remember a lot of my family members from my in-laws, they're still working. So the point is that you are not just paying them the money, but you're there to teach them as well. So people should learn from the fact and respect the fact that you are there to actually guide them. I mean, what you can do the next day is, okay, I don't need you, I have a lot of other people out there. I just post a LinkedIn post, and there are millions of thousands of people. Especially working from home is a very good benefit. So what's your message to the youth out there who's going to apply for future content writing positions? First, what should be the skill set that they need for that? And what do you think is the right age to start doing it? Because content writing has immense opportunities. I mean, talking about knowledge, it's filled with knowledge. You gave me an article regarding ERP. I still remember that, because I researched on the whole theory. And today I was working for a company where that word occurred, and I knew what the ERP was. And, it was just because of content writing. So what message, what's the message that you would like to give to the youth, that if they're coming to you or any other company in future, how can they apply, and how should they evaluate their own interests that, okay, this would be the right field for them? Otherwise, just don't apply. Go ahead.
Okay. First of all, let's talk about the age, the best age to start in this career.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any age limit as long as you are an A-level graduate. Okay. That's a good start. You can come into this field.
Yeah.
And the skill set you really need in this is good English.
I see.
Okay.
Written English.
And yes, written English, spoken English, it should be good, grammatically good. Not just like,
and there are different tools like Grammarly to help them out as well these days.
Yes, there is, and use those tools.
Yeah.
And you see, one major problem in our Pakistani education system is a weak English. Okay, people make mistakes with their tenses.
Yeah,
they're really confused about when to use past tense, when to use plurals.
As have, after date, if they're not, they mostly use second form. And I've seen seniors doing the same mistake. I was talking to a person who was a PhD. Unfortunately, yes. I mean, I understand that you are a doctor, you know, PhD is something. And when you don't know the basics, it's kind of embarrassing. I'm not going to use the word embarrassing. Why? Because it might lead towards certain phobia towards different people that, okay, still there is a different stereotype. But I think English being the universal language, people should have command on it. Why? Because if not now, when? And then when?
Yeah, exactly. So I would suggest that to work on that, start reading English novels a lot and focus on the English sentence structures. Because writing content, you see, you have to keep it in the back of your head that you're writing for the world. You're not just writing it for a limited community, because whatever you post will be visible on Google. And depending on how well the SEO has been done for that website, your content might show on top. And Americans will read that, Britishers will read that, European people will read it. So write English that is good.
I see.
Okay.
I see.
So work on your English skills. That's the first advice I'll give. Yes, use Grammarly. Try to work on not making the content plagiarized. Okay. There's copyscape checkers online. There are all kinds of tools.
I know what sort of things are there. We have been exploring all of these in our university times while doing the thesis.
Yes, and you see, the most important thing is don't get demotivated, because I started as a writer. It's not like I never made mistakes.
Yeah,
I learned from those mistakes. You know, don't look at it as a mistake. Look at it as a lesson. Learn from it. Improve yourself.
Yeah,
and of course, content writing, don't limit yourself to one niche. Be dynamic. Don't just say, okay, I'll only write for fashion, I'll only write for beauty items, I'll only write for psychology.
Be dynamic, because the culture is changing rapidly.
Exactly.
And start reading blogs as well, because the more you read, the more content would be there in your mind as well. Start listening to different like podcasts or different entrepreneurs, different motivational speakers. Yeah, go ahead.
Exactly. Push yourself, push yourself to know more. Open your mind to learning new things. It's not only about your interest. Because that way you will increase the chances of landing a better job opportunity. You might get a job in a business organization and you're a science person. Like myself, look at me. I started as a science person, but now I'm in digital marketing. I learned SEO. I learned ads. I learned how to write ad copies and things like that. I didn't limit myself to just science subject.
You never, yeah.
Because I believe as a human being, you have that ability to push your mind, explore new things.
Yeah. I agree. Okay, one thing that I would like to ask you would be regarding, you might have heard about, there are a lot of people in India who are doing the same thing, and they have a lot of immense talent. I've seen a lot of groups in India. I personally spoke to a lady in India as well regarding content writing, and she was a very good person. And they have a very good heart when it comes to, providing work, and they're providing work to Pakistanis here as well. How would you relate and compare? I mean, if you've been dealing with different Indian people in this industry, I'm sure you might have. So how do you relate what their skill set is versus the skill set in Pakistan at a global level? Where would you rate us, and what are the pros and cons between the Indian content writers and the Pakistani content writers? Because they're from the same subcontinent, I mean, in the past. But what do you think? Are they better, or are we better? Or if they're better, how is that?
Well, you see, I don't think they are better, because I feel that we do have people that have good skills. Okay. What they do lack is the motivation to go on with this.
I totally agree with this part.
That is something, and if they want to pursue it as a career, there has to be focus. But that's where they are lacking. Pakistani people mostly are lacking in their interest and dedication to this field.
So
They
this
don't
is
want to
where
go on.
career counseling comes in as well. What would you like to
Yes.
suggest when it comes to lack of career counseling? Because that would be the right word to use. And I've been working on lack of career counseling since 2015. One thing that I don't get is that even talking about tier 1 schools, they don't have a proper career counseling center where people can go and, you know, gain some insight regarding, okay, this is the career that I want to pursue. And it's not just one day thing that you do a discussion and that's it. It's a whole, I think it's a whole process that we guys should define. And in that process, we should know that, you know, that this should be the way we should lead towards how people can come up with their core interests. How should they evaluate it? So what would be your suggestion to the youth and to those institutes and to the government as well, that these are the steps that they must take so that we can eliminate this problem? And I think this is a necessity owing to the fact the economic crisis are going on and everything. If you're not going to build entrepreneurs, there are not going to be opportunities coming up. And if there are less opportunities, how would we be able to escape from this, situation that we are in right now? As I was just reading the Dawn today, and it was the reserve. I told you while we were having a conversation that we are paying 40% of our income almost towards the interests and the loans that we've taken from other neighboring countries, right? Not the neighboring ones, of course, but globally. So go ahead and explain some, throw some light upon this fact on how to build entrepreneurs and what should we do to eliminate this lack of career counseling that's going on right now.
Okay, well, you see, what I would suggest, or how I've thought about this quite a lot.
Okay.
And I do agree with you that there is a lack of career counseling in our society and our nation at large.
Yeah.
So my recommendation is we should start encouraging schools, okay, high schools, to have a career counselor, at least one in every school.
Okay.
Because right from the time kids are taking admissions for O levels, they should be able to think about what they want in their future, what they want to be.
Yeah.
You know, and based on their interest. I know that usually, you know, there is that parent pressure where parents try to say that you need to study this, you must do that. They dictate it to the children, but it is a practice we need to, like, you know, tone down a bit. We should encourage parents also not to do that. Let your child discover what they want to do.
I see.
So add career counseling in every college, in every school, guide them.
At every level.
Every level.
And I think parents are doing a lot already. They're working hard and they're sending their children to schools.
Yes,
it's this major responsibility comes towards the schools who are actually teaching those children.
Exactly.
I mean, people, unfortunately, they go for FSC and they don't even know what it stands for. They go for MBBS and they don't know what it stands for. So you being a content writer, how can a person even write content without knowing the meaning of a certain word? These are basics that we are lacking. And I think no one is taking action on it. I think we need to come. There are companies who are coming up with incubation centers. There is a lot going on, but why not coming towards some positive insights, you know?
Exactly, I agree with you. The government should try to look into this. The educational sector should look into it.
Yeah.
And you see, even at university level, when teachers notice that a child has an interest in this, the government should be able to sponsor those children to become entrepreneurs.
Yeah, and eventually they will return it by giving jobs to other people. And this is how we can come up with positive outcomes in the end. So
in fact, I have this client in Europe, and she does a similar thing. She actually has a platform where young children can enroll, learn new skills, and then she funds them to go and start their businesses. Of course, in the end, she's a partner. She's overseeing everything. She's guiding them. But you see, she's an education person. She's an education-minded person. She's a personal development counselor. And she tries to make sure that children grow into something. Our government needs to encourage the youth to become entrepreneurs, find out their interest, what are they good at, and sponsor them. Give them a small fund. In fact, recently, India did the same thing. They gave a small amount of 10,000.
They've got a lot of unicorn companies now. I mean, in Pakistan, you don't even have one.
And those kids did so much with that fund,
I understand that.
Now the kids are really,
so we have immense talent. 63% of the population is youth. Coming towards the end of the session, Mona, I would want you to explain regarding some positive factors as well that you've seen in the society, in the coming years? Because I've also seen a lot of different strategies, different entrepreneurs coming in. What would be the positive highlights that you would like to mention, that these are the things that you observed were positive apart from 5 years back and today?
Well, I think one major positive development I've seen is that nowadays there is this women empowerment concept.
Okay.
Many companies are trying to see women at higher posts as managers, and they encourage women to come forward. This is a very, very big change from when I came.
Yeah.
You know, in the beginning of my career as an entrepreneur, I realized that there is a lack of faith in women, but I think now things are getting better. We are moving towards betterment.
Yeah.
It's not that gender preference
Okay.
kind of
One
issue
thing
that
is
comes
women
from.
empowerment. I've seen women taking, their own, taking the, what would be the right word exactly? Taking their own responsibility of their work
Yes,
and making
yes,
sure that they do not rely on others. I think that would be the right way
yeah,
to convey the
yes,
message.
very true.
So I
Yes,
think
very true.
that's one advantage, and women now can freely roam around, and I think things are happening, and they can raise their voice, which is a very
Yeah,
good thing,
exactly.
which is really good. Apart from
Yes.
that, what do you think? I mean, in terms of youth and in terms of building entrepreneurs, do you think we need to do a little bit more, or we're still lacking, I think, in this
No,
regard?
no, we need to do more. We need to do more because
Yeah.
I think there is a shift towards digital marketing, which is good.
Yeah.
But you know, not only digital marketing, there should be a balance in other aspects as well. I
Hmm.
think the government and the youth should also think about other ways of becoming entrepreneurs. Businesses start can become restaurant owners, become company owners, explore something new, create new products
New
that are
products.
being imported right
And
now. You
start
know, try to find
reading as
ways.
well. Start reading history. Start reading all
Exactly,
those
exactly.
like Nelson Mandela. Start reading,
Yes,
have a
exactly.
mentor as well in your life, through which you've
Yes,
got that
that is
passion,
something.
and dream big, and only then you're going to achieve something in the end.
Yes, 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 yes. I think that's a major change we need in the
Yeah.
society. A lot of
Mona,
positivity.
thank you so much for your time. I know it has been a long
Thank you, Shariff.
session, and I really appreciate you taking out time. For all other people who are listening to us, do subscribe to our YouTube channel, Youth Alumni Association, and you can go to Facebook page and get in touch with us if you want to. And let's hope for a better and future globally, not just for Pakistan. Let's do this thing for people in the entire world, because we as Pakistanis are gifted with immense talent, and we've got people like Mona here to share their career journey, so we can get a lot of insights from her as well. So thank you so much, Mona,
Thank
again,
you so much,
and
Shariff.
take care of yourself. Thank you for being a part of this session today.
Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
You too. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.